Hey Ryan, so
Hey.
why are you in my office today?
Jonathan, I'm here to talk to you about sales.
All right, good. Well, you guys I've learned a tremendous amount from you over the years of getting to know you and the team that you work with. You guys, you run a pretty phenomenal operation. So if you would, just so people know who you are, what's the company you're with?
Ryan Chipman, I'm with Schneider Shrub and Tree Care. We're a shrub and tree care franchise out of South Carolina, offering to the Southeast.
Okay. So Ryan was at our office. I've had the pleasure to work with Ryan and his team for a number of years now through Service Autopilot, and I have to say that they've been very influential. We've learned a lot from them. They've provided us just this awesome advice, and so Ryan happened to be in town, and I asked if we could shoot a couple videos to pass on some ideas to you. So the thing that I've picked up from Ryan is you guys are really good at sales. So most companies that sell, they don't really have a system around it. They hire salespeople and they send them out there and they want them to sell. But what I've observed with you guys is you have a plan and you know how to hold people accountable. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, about 5 years ago, we decided that we needed a sales system for our team.
Okay.
We went to some consultants, we took ideas from other industries, and put together a program that works really well at just what you said, holding people accountable to the activities that they have to do on a regular basis to keep their sales consistent.
So did you have a sales team before you did this, or did you do this before you built the sales team?
Yeah, we've been in business for 20 years, so
Okay.
we've had sales team for 15 years prior to that.
So why'd you do this? Were you guys not seeing the results you thought you should see, or what was the motivation?
Well, we've been growing over those 15 years, and we knew that we wanted to take our growth to the next level. We had great production teams and support teams. Our sales team was phenomenal, and we were having challenges really growing the sales team because we had great people and we couldn't reproduce them. So by having a sales program, we're able to take what those great people did and reproduce that into new salespeople so we can continue to grow that team.
Okay. And so what I know of your business is you guys set out goals and you sit down frequently with the team. I think individually. Is that true? You do this individually? So you set a goal with an individual on the sales team, and then you give them action items that are measurable.
Yeah, actually each of our sales persons set their own goals because they're commission-based sales guys. They set the goal that they want to hit.
Okay.
And then we help to hold them accountable to meeting those goals through the activities that they're doing, through following and tracking, which we use Service Autopilot for making sure that we're giving them the support that they need to make sure they can go out and do all the activities they need to do.
Okay. So one of the examples, and I think this is an incredibly good lesson, but I need you to elaborate on it, and that is one of the things that I had learned from Ryan is I feel like what you guys do is you say, if you want to be successful, this is what success looks like. So you've set this goal, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, Mr. Salesperson, you've set this goal, and if you want to be successful, then you need to make this many calls each week, you need to make this many, you need to get this many estimates out this week, and you break it down to literally actionable items where they can look back at the end of the week and say, well, I only did 20 and I was supposed to do 40. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I didn't hit my goal. Am I stating that correctly?
Yeah, so every quarter we have a sales meeting where we sit down and we talk about what we're going to do for the next quarter.
Yep.
We break down our goals based on, what the sales goal is, what their average sell is, what their average close ratio is, and then we find out how many sales they need per week.
Okay.
And then how many estimates they're going to need to meet those sales. So then we take and see what activities.
So if I could stop you there.
Yeah.
So does that mean then that you've essentially figured out that, for example, we close 40% of our estimates? I'm making up a number. I don't know what you guys close, but you close 40% of estimates. So that means that from that you can extrapolate how many estimates need to go out the door to generate X number of sales.
Sure. Let's say we have a $100,000 sales goal. Your average sales $1,000.
Yep.
You close 50%. Then you know how many estimates you're going to need each week of that next quarter to hit your sales goal.
And I'm going to guess then, and I know the answer because I've got to know you over time. So from that, if we need X number of estimates, then you know how many leads you need to drive enough on-site visits possibly to generate that number of estimates.
That's right.
And then that drives marketing and everything else. Would that be true?
That's right, and it's different per sales guy. So a guy that's been in the business for 15 years, he has a network of people that may generate, and especially in the busy season, more than enough to hit his goal. A new guy, he may have to go out and do cold calling, stop-ins, drop-ins, networking events, things that are going to drive those leads so that he can hit his sales goal.
Okay. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So, and I feel like one of the things that most of us do, especially early on in the business, is we're just out there haphazardly trying to generate work, and we've not put the thought into it like you guys have. And that's why we don't build the businesses that we want to build. We don't see the success that we want to see. And it feels like everybody else that's really successful is getting lucky. You guys are getting really crazy lucky. I mean,
yeah.
But
luck is
yeah, but
mostly
it's
preparation.
It's
right?
for this reason, I would argue, that you've thought about, you've systematized this.
Yeah.
So is there anything you could say to maybe encourage somebody as to why they want to start thinking this way, why they want to sit down and spend the effort to essentially create these benchmarks or these actionable goals that they want to hit? What have you seen? And you don't have to give any specific numbers, but what kind of success have you seen since you transformed the business in this way?
Well, over the last 5 years, we've seen 30% growth year over year.
And at your size, that's pretty fantastic.
Right, it is. It creates new challenges around production and things like that, but that's always fun too. And it allows us to add on sales guys. Somebody that may not be even from the sales industry. For example, one of our top guys right now that's coming up came from the cell phone industry, right? So he doesn't know our industry, but you can teach him the techniques and tell him these are the tasks that you need to go do. As long as he follows those tasks and goes and does those things, then he's going to get the results.
And that's pretty awesome given how hard it is to find people in the industry.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and what would a ramp-up time be for somebody like that when you've created an actual system? Is it a year? Is it?
So depending upon where they're coming from. So a guy coming out of a similar industry, maybe a lawn care or landscaping company, may have a network that allows him to ramp up in 6 months.
Okay.
A fresh guy we've seen typically can reach his goals in the first year.
Okay.
And then you can start really making the commissions and really turning sales. So
would that be possible to do if you didn't have the system where you said you need to be doing this many calls, you need to be visiting this many partners, things of that sort?
No, and that's one of the reasons we really went to this system. The new guys we were bringing on were either not making it, or were taking 2, 3, 4 years to reach a commissionable sales rate.
Wow. Wow.
Which was just really not feasible given our size of our company to absorb that.
Okay. So for anyone that's not doing this, what would be maybe the first 2 steps to start moving in this direction?
Step 1, you've got to know your metrics, right? You have to know what your average sell is, what your close ratio is, and what marketing efforts are doing for you. So how many leads are you getting from certain marketing efforts? That's step 1. Step 2 is then setting the goals that you want to obtain and understanding what you're going to do to fill in the gaps in your leads that you need. And then step 3 is being accountable for it.
Okay. So one of my concerns would be that I feel that even with the great ideas, a lot of people would never even be able to do step 1 because they're not tracking these items. So how were you guys doing it? Is there an actionable piece of advice you can give somebody for step 1?
Well, you got to use the system, right? I mean, Service Autopilot, we're fully invested in that. That allows us to see what our close ratio is. That allows us to see what marketing efforts are doing, where our leads are generated, and it also allows us to see what our average sell is.
Okay, so once you've got that, then step 2 is you define a goal for the company as to where you want to go. So we accomplished X in maybe this year, and next year we want to accomplish Y.
Right.
And so that's all in step 2, basically you're just figuring out your goal. Is that correctly
restated? Step 2 is goal setting, yep.
And then you look at what you've done historically and figure out what you need to multiply that to achieve that goal.
That's correct.
Okay. Anything else?
The last thing's accountability, right? So the thing that holds, the glue that holds it all together is in our group, we have a meeting every week where we talk to all of our sales team and we ask them, were you on track or off track when it came to your actions this week? Did you make all your goals? You can be on track one of 2 ways. You hit your sales number, which is always great, or you did all the activities that you set out to do this week. And then you have to have accountability behind that. So
speaking of that, I got to visit your company several years ago, and you guys, I got to sit in on one of your company meetings. So I'd like to chat with you in another video about what you guys do from a meeting standpoint to encourage production and sales and everything else, because that was pretty fantastic.
Great.
So thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.